too much is given, much is required. And we have these big platforms and people are paying attention, and why not use that time to spread some joy? And I think the more that you spread the love, the more the love comes back.
And even though sometimes, it's using our family to do it, you see Kaavia and you see us with these funny videos, we understand that there's people out there that, family look like our family. People who need a moment of encouragement, of uplifting, of inspiring. And so try to use our platform to uplift.
She's an actress, activist, and best-selling author. He's a 3-time NBA champion. Together, Gabrielle Union and Dwyane Wade are the happily married and extremely proud parents of 5 beautiful children. The couple welcomed their youngest, Kaavia, by way of surrogate back in November 2018. And in 2020, Gabrielle published her first children's book, Welcome to the Party, inspired by their daughter's arrival. Now, Gabrielle is teaming up with her husband to publish another children's book, Shady Baby, which comes out May 18th. The title character is based on Kaavia, whose fabulous personality has already earned her 1.6 million Instagram followers before her 3rd birthday.
It's not about, creating this image of perfection and these glossy, perfect photos, and sometimes they're out of focus. It's just capturing her essence, and the main takeaway is she's free. She's free to be this amazing, dynamic, shady at times, loving at times, funny at times, Black little girl when the world has been not so kind to Black girls and women. So for so many people, she's just straight up freedom and what it can be like.
So many people see themselves in Kav, and it's weird to me. She's 2 years old, but so many people are able to share in what we share. And you see yourself in her. Some days you don't feel like doing your hair. Some days you want to give people shade. You get to see yourself in this little character of Shady Baby that's been created.
It's like a lot of people think of shade as negative, and we're like, shade is your superpower. Because, for Kav, when she gives you a look, it's either you're not respecting her boundary or something's happening that she doesn't like, or, and so to use that as shade is your superpower. It's about accountability. It's about behavior modification. And it's all positive. And you can see little Black girls and women as leaders. And you can also see her more vulnerable, because in the book it also shows that something happens to her and it makes her sad. And but she's other kids around her are just as empowered to correct behavior. And we can still have a great time, and it doesn't have to end, and it doesn't have to be some huge dramatic thing. But we can all kind of correct each other, and it can be seen as this positive thing. Accountability and acknowledging, maybe not so great behavior. These are positive things. It's positive for everyone involved.
And it's cool, even going down this process of even creating the Shady Baby, starting with the book. It's just how do we want, little Black girls to be seen? And it kind of, if you go through the book, it's like a day in the life of Kav. And so it's cool to kind of be able to use her personality and turn it into this, this little girl that, a lot of people see in themselves.
Since the couple married in 2014, Gabrielle has been stepmother to Dwyane's 3 children from 2 previous relationships, 19-year-old Zaire, 13-year-old Zaya, and 7-year-old Xavier. In addition to her husband's nephew, 19-year-old Davian, who's long been Dwyane's legal ward. So the Wades are now parenting 5 children, ages 2 to 19. And if there's one thing they've learned along the way, it's to listen.
What we try to do is we try to do a good job of listening, watching, because they show you. The kids show you who they are if you just stop and you just listen. Instead of saying, I play basketball, you're gonna play basketball. That hasn't shown as a good way, for most people. Now I understand families out there that, you have to push your kids, and we definitely have to do that.
We motivate.
Yeah, push, motivate, there you go.
I think there's the inclination, if you've been successful in life, is if my kids are just like me, they too will be successful. Or perhaps all of your dreams didn't come true and you're like, you gotta be better than me. And then you're living through your kids in a different way. But it really is very humbling, and it can be a little scary to actually just listen to your kids and meet them where they're at.
We are proud, when I say proud, we are proud parents
of a child in the LGBTQ plus community, and we're proud allies as well.
In February 2020, Dwyane appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show to share his family's love and support for their daughter Zaya, who had recently come out as transgender.
I looked at it and said, you are a leader. You are a leader, and it's our opportunity to allow you to be a voice. Right now it's through us because she's 12 years old, but eventually it would be through her.
When it became apparent that Zaya perhaps might be part of the LGBTQIA community, we had to learn more. I was pretty well versed in most things, but I was like, as she got older and when she identified as trans, I didn't have as many resources and people that I knew personally, so I just reached out to everyone that I knew from my Instagram list and social media, and when I say everyone, responded with love, resources, information, literally connecting us to different organizations, and it was pure love. And I think what people responded to is like, we weren't coming into it like, we've got all the answers or it's gotta be our way. It's like, we don't know, and we're gonna mess up, we're gonna say the wrong thing. Please read us for filth, because you should, and we should just take it and we should learn, instead of being sensitive Sallys. We gotta just listen and humble yourself and be led. And so that's pretty much what we did.
We looked at each other just like this, and we decided at 3 years old that we were gonna approach it different. And up until that point, I only knew one way, and I come from a community where even if someone in my community was gay, or if I had a teammate who was gay, they never felt comfortable ever being themselves because of what's said, in our community, what's said, in our locker rooms. And so I come from that. And Zaya, growing up in our household, me trying to be a supportive father and allow my kids to become who they are without me making them something, I started learning. I started to learn from her, and I started to watch her. And then from there, we started having more conversations. We started educating ourselves. And I started being able to educate others outside of our household. And that's, for me, what was important, to go back in that locker room, to have different conversations with individuals who, it's not necessarily coming from always a bad place. It's coming from a place of, just being, not knowing, and not being open. And so once you're able to open your mind, you're able to listen, and someone that you trust and someone you love can explain something to you or show you something different. If you love that person, then you're gonna open up to that person and you're gonna open your eyes. And so that was the way that we tried to approach it.
Well, hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm so nervous, but how are you?
This past March, Zaya met one of her idols when she interviewed Michelle Obama to help promote the Young Readers edition of the former First Lady's memoir, Becoming.
She was so amazing and dynamic, and to just be able to hold your own with Michelle Obama and be impactful.
We're super excited because, we know what Zaya represents, and we understand what Michelle Obama represents. And for her at 13 years old to get a chance to have, a conversation. And their conversation went on, they was like, hey, y'all get 5 minutes. It went on about almost 15 minutes, but it was awesome.
I am just so proud of you, being just an amazing role model and embracing your truth, right?
Nice to meet you.
Both Gabrielle and Dwyane had been previously married before they began dating, and they remain grateful for the lessons of those past relationships.
This is both of our second marriages. And we didn't do it right the first one. The first time around, we weren't collaborative, we weren't good partners, and we had to learn and humble ourselves and say, ooh, we really screwed the pooch on that one. There's another way that can be more collaborative and equitable and just better for our lives if we both humble ourselves, listen, and meet in the middle. That makes for better partnerships.
Look, I come from it where she had her career, she had her life before we met. She was doing perfectly fine in her life and her career. And so coming into it, it's like, okay, it's not my job to change who she are. It's my job to be there and be a part of the evolution of her, and vice versa, right? So, it's just really learning each other. It's learning what she wants for herself, for her life, for her career, and it's trying to support all those things. And and then it's the same thing on this side, understanding that I like to golf, that I like to do this, I like to do that, and supporting me in those things goes a long, long way. And so we've tried to become better at it, as we looked at each other and was like, well, we locked in at this point. Let's just keep, let's just keep going,
We talk about raising free Black girls. I wasn't raised to be free. I was raised to conform. I was raised to assimilate. I was raised to be super conscious of the white gaze and to constantly shape shift so you can always be positioned as the exception. So then hopefully you'll have closer proximity to the people who get to make decisions, and maybe they'll deem you worthy. We are raising our kids to know that they are worthy because they exist. They are deserving because they exist. And we don't want them to ever shape shift for anyone else's approval or acceptance. We want to make sure that they feel strong and supported and free to be exactly who they are, where they are, whenever they feel like being whatever that is. Because I definitely didn't have it.
And it's important because if you're being yourself, if we allowing our kids to be their true selves, and then you don't have to worry about conforming with anything or anyone. And so that's the goal for us.